minute. I know. Oh my gosh. I am really excited to be here. We are live.
Hey guys.
Yeah, we are live. You can watch us on screen right now. So it's a learning curve. I guarantee you it is a learning curve. And there you go.
Hello.
Yeah, I gotta get you on. My levels are kind of different today, but it's a learning curve, and I've been diligently working. I've been diligently working at this as hard as I can, and he's seen it this time. Like,
yep.
So, but everybody, I really want to thank you for joining us today. One of the biggest things that we are getting ready for are the holiday seasons, actually, and with the holiday season comes a lot of change, lots of
stuff. The dynamics get pushed.
Yeah, it gets pushed. Like the whole margins of everything gets pushed. I am hoping to dear heavenly God that my phone does not ring.
Why?
Because it's all the way on the other side of the room. I don't know.
I'll be right back.
Because anybody that knows me knows my ringtone says, take it down. No, it doesn't. I got to answer the phone. So I'm really excited, everybody. Hopefully you can hear us loud and clear. We're doing something excellent. I'm really, despite the obstacles, I would have it no other way than to do this. You know, for the people that are able to sit back and watch us and be an actual, there it go, be a part of what we're doing.
You guys hooked up, Mama?
Yeah,
all right. Hey, you guys, good evening. This is Keith with G Gallery Custom Framing, located on the square in McDonough, Georgia, joining this beautiful, sweet Danny J with a sweeter point of view.
And we are doing several things about style today. This is all about style.
Whatever that may mean to you.
Whatever your style, that's me.
You know, just if you want to text something in, if you want to call, if you want to send us a message, you can. You can find me on Facebook, G Gallery Custom Framing and Interiors, and G Gallery Interiors, and just look us up. You can send us a message if you'd like. All right. You can also call us at 347-539-5685. Give us a call, and we'll be glad to answer some questions. Tell us what's going on in your decorating world. I love to hear stories. I love to hear especially things regarding hurdles you've overcome, regarding any kind of financial matters with your decorating. If you had a particular construction issue, maybe a pipe was in the way and you cleverly did something with that. I'd love to hear those kind of stories and learn from you as I move forward so I can help other people.
Also, I want to talk about with things that are coming up. A lot of times during this time of season, a lot of people wrestle, and I'm trying so desperately, everybody, to make sure that I look appropriate because I've been getting, you know, feedback. Doing the best I can. But to do was this time of season and moving on, we have a lot of issues with dust mites and, you know, just the best way of, you know, just maintaining a clean environment in your home. So, do you have anything about how to minimize, you know, other than dust and everything?
That's a good place to start.
But, you know, we have certain things that retain more dust and dust mites and things than others. So, how can you do that?
Well, really, where do you get these subjects that you just surprise me with? Huh?
I be talking to people. And I be walking into people's houses. You know, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, we need to talk about that.
You know, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she does not give me any warning when she pulls these subjects up.
Because it's live. You can't do a live show.
It would help, though, if I could do a little homework and maybe...
I feel like Keith knows it all.
Oh, I don't, really. I do not. But let's see. What can we... regarding controlling dust mites, etc. First and foremost, change your air filter.
See?
First and foremost, it's probably the most important thing you can do without having to dust on a daily basis. But if you're going to dust on a daily basis and you have a dirty filter that is just putting dust out there again, then you having to dust on a daily basis. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you change your filter once a month, unless you get a special filter that is multi-months, I will warn you that I just got through. It's so funny you asked this and we bring this up.
Okay,
I was talking to Steve Nail with Nail Heating and Air tonight at the chamber function that I was at prior to coming to the show here, and we were discussing air purifiers and filters, etc. He warned that some of those filters that you can get from Lowe's, Home Depot, etc., they're a 3M product, they're Filtreats. They say you don't have to change them but every 3 months. Those are so restrictive of your airflow, it will drive your utility cost up.
Oh my gosh, so it's going to work in reverse.
Exactly. I mean, it'll clean the air that's coming out, but it'll just make your unit work harder. So if you get the ones that you can change every 30 days, they're a little lighter, they're a little breathier, so to speak. The air passes easier, but you do have to change them more frequently. But those filters are only like $4 each, and you don't want to add $40 to your utility bill buying the more expensive one anyway. So I think it works out a lot better if you just buy the cheaper filter that you can change on a monthly basis.
You know, it's funny that you say that because a lot of people want to take, you know, the shortcut. And they're like, this is more expensive, I don't want to do it this way, or this is easier. Yeah. You know, and they go, what's on sale? And it becomes a very difficult situation.
Yeah, I think you just buy the less expensive filter that you change every 30 days, but you must put it on your calendar to change. And a good thing that I like to do is write either the day I installed the new filter and write it right on the filter with a marker, or write it on the day that you're supposed to have changed it. And then you want to make sure you put that on your timer or in your calendar on your iPhone or whatever you do to keep up with things like that. You just want to put yourself a reminder to change that every 30 days. So that's going to do a great deal to control the dust in your house. Regular vacuuming with a good vacuum cleaner is going to make a difference. And there's just so many bad vacuum cleaners out there.
So many. Because, you know, a lot of people that watch the show or listen to the show, they listen to the advice that, you know, that is given during the show.
Good.
So what would you suggest to be like what do we look for in buying a good quality vacuum cleaner?
Well, I tell you, probably the best vacuum cleaner out there is, I mean, vacuum cleaners can run from $2,000 on down, really. I mean, they're just amazing what you can get. But, you know, I think the Dyson has certainly made a great name for itself, and it's in the higher, moderate priced. We use what's called a rainbow vacuum cleaner, which uses a huge water filtration system, but it's extremely sturdy and strong vacuum cleaner and does a great job, and it really helps with dust mites and things like that. I think you just want to be mindful of the filtrations. Do your homework, because a good vacuum cleaner will save you lots of other work.
Right.
So just get one that you're comfortable with, but make sure you use it and make sure you do what the instructions say. There are little filters in the vacuum cleaners themselves that have to be washed. They have to be changed. People don't think about doing that, and so it's just very important.
I think that's a big thing, is that a lot of people neglect to take care of the things that are helping to take care of us.
Right.
So, we don't take care of the vacuum cleaners because we're using them all the time, so we don't do the cleaning and changing. And God, those bags.
Well, see, I've avoided using a bag vacuum cleaner for a long time now. It's just something, whether call it good marketing or whatever, but you just sort of graduate past that, and you get these bagless vacuum cleaners that have all these extra filters on them, and I enjoy those. I enjoy using them. So some other things you can do, let's see. Well, this is a time of year that everybody wants to open their windows up and let fresh air in, and I'll tell you what happened to me 2 weeks ago. You guys, I'm sort of anal about my house. I try to keep it clean. I try to keep it dusted, everything in its place. And the first night that it got nice and cool, we opened all the windows, getting a nice cross breeze. And then what happened was I had a new person scheduled to come and cut the lawn, and they came much earlier than my old person typically came, so I never realized that he could come that early, and he came before any of us got home to close the windows before all the grass got mowed.
Oh my
and
gosh.
What happened was all the dust stirred up from the lawn mowing experience came right through the house. Wow.
Oh, you were so excited. You were so happy.
Oh my God! Every windowsill was coated full of dirt, and I can just imagine. I said, "Oh my God! I know that all this dirt is on my sofa, in my rugs, everything else." So I just went to cleaning, and it's taken a couple of weeks to get everything caught up. It's a big job. I know.
Well, but you do it, and you do it well. And the fact of the matter is that once you finish, your house actually looks like tons better, because then you find stuff that you originally wanted to do the first time.
That's right.
Also, a lot of times during this time of year, people want to, when they decorate outside. Let's talk about outside decorations, people, during Christmas season.
Okay, all right. You know I don't like outside.
There we go. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, of course, I've got an opinion about them, but I just do not like doing them. And, I'm going to do some around my house. Less is more, less is more, less is more. But what do you want to talk about, outdoor decorations? You got an issue?
Yes. How long should you leave outdoor decorations up? What is the politically correct time frame for outdoor decorations?
First of all, I must have a lot of freaky friends and customers, because I have so many good customers that go all out for this particular holiday coming up. Halloween. Oh my gosh, they have storage rooms in their basements or attics or closets designated strictly for Halloween decor. And then they just pull them all out, and their yard becomes this huge cemetery and freak fest going on. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I would warn you that when Halloween is over, which is November 1st, start pulling down your Halloween decorations, and of course then you're going to start bringing out the jolly of the next holiday, which is Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
have a holly jolly.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, so your Thanksgiving decor, if you have bales of hay and you have pumpkin, anything left over from Halloween, you can leave those, and I would wisely just reposition those and reuse those for a Thanksgiving style holiday decor. And then after Thanksgiving, I would remove more of the hay bales and things like that and go to a more typical, what we would imagine as Christmas decor decorations, and go to your richer greens and pine cones and
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's a big deal to me because we go out everywhere and we see Christmas decorations, and I do have some people that want to do, that think, who's on? Keith.
What?
Mama said, hey.
Hey, Tracy, how are you, honey?
she said, who's on? I'm like, Keith. I don't think she can see us. There we go.
Hey.
We look like brothers and sisters.
Don't we, though?
Damn. Oh, now, we're doing something different. I wanted you to see. There was a purpose for this, purpose for everything. These are frames, custom framing that Keith uses. Keith, you're on. 1, 2, 3. Let's talk about frames. Let's talk frames. We don't have anything else.
Well, let's, we've got so much stuff. So much has happened since last week's show.
Okay, let's go ahead and catch up.
But no, we can talk about frames, part of it. I am so busy. People are bringing in things for Christmas now, and I want everybody to realize that it typically is about a 3-week turnaround for a custom frame shop, at least for this one, because I don't have a staff of any. I got Jason. Jason makes all my frames, and he helps me as much as he can, bless his heart. But other than that, it's me. So it's about a 3-week turnaround. And of course, as we get closer to Christmas, that window shrinks because of need. People last minute bringing stuff in. So that's what I'm saying. Please, from your friendly framer, and if you don't use me and you use other framers, please be respectful of their time and their trade and get it into them so they can do a good job and not freak out.
Yeah, that to me, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal for people go into stuff and they have this sense of urgency where you knew Christmas doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
These birthdays hadn't changed. So it amazes me how many people wait till the last minute and want to come in and want this done. Now, what type of project takes more time? I'm sure a basic project will take...
Well, somebody brought in a Dallas Cowboy jersey the other day. Yeah, signed by, oh my God, I can't remember.
He does know sports, everybody.
I do. I love sports. I'm so sorry. I just cannot remember. Great Dallas Cowboy player. He's retired now. Fast little guy. Runs so quick. But anyway, that's going to be a very long, tedious project. And typically, any project like a shadow box, especially if it requires sewing, using adhesives and things like that, that takes time. And typically you do a stage, you set it somewhere and let that do its thing, and then you have to pull it back out again. Meanwhile, you've got other things on your work table, then those got to be wrapped up and, put off somewhere else. And so it's just a sort of a layering process trying to do a work order calendar in a frame shop like that. So, but shadow boxes are the most laborious thing that you can do. From the framing perspective, where we cut the moldings and we join all the frames together, depending on what type of molding it is, dictates, how much labor and time is involved and what special needs a molding may need. For example, those shiny, beautiful pieces right back here. Let me grab one.
Oh, there we go. You can turn it.
Look at that.
I can't do it.
Look at that.
Oh, wait. I can do this. Watch this. Wait. It's coming.
Really?
It's coming. No,
Really?
It's supposed to.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway.
No.
Okay. Anyway, these shiny, these wonderful high gloss moldings, which are so hot and wonderful and beautiful to use, they just take a lot of extra care when you're cutting the moldings and joining the moldings. So,
wait, I got it. Hold it back up.
oh my gosh, you guys.
There we go.
Hey, look at that, you guys, see? Shiny.
And
I have this on my big beveled mirror in my dining room.
It is so gorgeous.
It really is beautiful to use those on mirrors. Those are very hot.
It really does work. And now, what goes in? Because you can tell the difference between what has been quality custom made and what has not been. But this is where I can't throw a question at him because he knows. What type of thing do you typically would not like to put in the shutouts? Because first of all, what you have over there is absolutely beautiful. That black belt thing.
Oh yeah, somebody's young man's his first black belt. So we took the black belt itself and wrapped it and presented it in the box along with his certificate. And then in the background, we took a photograph of his first day of karate class, and we sort of blurred it as if it were a distant memory. And then we took a photograph of the day he was presented his black belt that's very crisp, true to form photograph, and we floated it sort of over and in front of the old first day photograph and put the belt above that. It was a very poetic framing. It really turned out beautiful. So we have that in the shop right now. We have a woman's first little christening dress gown framed in a shadow box, which is beautiful. We've got another shadow box in the front window that is of an old antique framed piece of art. And we didn't want to disturb the frame itself. It had looked this way in Grandmama's house and Great-Grandmama's house, and so it just got handed down. So we said we need to preserve it just the way it is. So we took that whole framing and put it into a shadow box behind glass in another frame. It's really gorgeous and looks great.
Well, the thing is that when you do a lot of, when is it too much? Like, when are you doing too much with shadow boxing?
Well, I think when I'm just very careful as a framing designer. I'm very careful with the framing not overwhelming what's being framed so that the framing gets noticed first. That's not what framing is supposed to be about. Right. But a lot of frame shops and a lot of people that want to do custom framing think, let's just put the biggest, busiest thing on there and make it look regal. Well, the frame may look regal, but what's it doing for what you're framing? And that's the most important part of custom framing, I think.
I think a lot of times that we get into, we see something on television or we see something in a store, and we want it to look just like that. Also, since we're talking about it, and I remember a lot of people dogging out my little leopard, my little cheetah, but I want you to tell us the difference between how can we know a quality frame from someone who has really just kind of ripped us off. Well, just do something there.
I think the most important thing is if you are after quality framing is to make sure that it is an all wood-based product. The industry, and it's because of the huge surge in HGTV and everybody paying attention to their interior of their home, their nest, because since 9/11, all that changed. I mean, you remember how big houses had those living rooms that nobody ever sat in?
Right.
Well, they're not around anymore.
We still have a dining room that we can't sit in, but every now and then. And I'm only saying this because my mama's watching us right now. So we have the red room, and the red room, we can only go in when company's over the house.
Right. Well,
that still exists. I just want to let everybody know.
I'll tell you that whole, we jokingly talk about it, but that whole way of living is sort of going bye-bye. Homes are becoming very much the nest and the nurturing ground where people feel safe and comfortable post 9/11. So with that being said, though, with this huge surge in paying attention to our interiors, the framing industry has come out with these beautifully less costly ways of presenting a less expensive art form, and that's cheap printing and massive printing of images and putting them in these frames, and these frames are nothing but like blown styrofoam with a finish put on it. So they, I think you just want to make sure that you do wood and look for that product first. And then your glass, there is a thing called UV filtering. Right. And regular glass, because it's made of lead, has a natural 48% UV filter. The glass that I offer and that most good custom frame shops offer is 99% UV filtered.
Okay.
Which any kind of light, doesn't have to be direct, but any kind of light will fade certain inks. There are qualities of inks out there that is a whole nother show, you guys, but just be mindful that you want to use 99% UV filtered glass in your framing, all wood frames, pH neutral backing materials and mattings and all those things like that. If you have a framer that's doing that, then you have a very good framer, and most likely they're very conscientious about what they're doing.
One of the things that, my mom has a question. I remember Mom.
Okay.
I'm like, I get it, baby girl. She has a question about tricks with hanging curtains.
Yes.
Now, there has to be, all curtains aren't hung the same.
That's right.
So can you give us your tricks for the trade of hanging curtains?
No, because it's all it's all dependent on what kind of curtains it is, what's the window format, if it's a bay window, is it just a regular standard sash window, do you have multiple sashes? Do you know what a sash is? Okay, a sash is a window frame, and then sometimes you see double windows. That's a double sashed window.
Oh.
That's referred to as a sash.
So, because I was thinking the little sash, that goes at the back of the curtain, that ties it to the side. I was like, sash, that's good.
That's so, and then, what kind of top does the drapery panel have? Is it a pinched pleat? Is it grommets? Is it a pocket rod, which is what Grandmama used to have on office?
I know
a little pocket, you slide something in. It just depends so much. I'll tell you that there are people making livings off just installing drapery panels correctly, because your mom is right. You need to know what you're doing when you approach that. If not, it's going to be pulled down, it's going to sag, it's going to look bad. And typically, once they're up there, people don't worry about it. And 5 years down the road, you got one side hanging down, one side not, and it could be a problem.
Well, a lot of times what we see, I want to ask you this, and I know some people going to be, thinking I'm, jumping on black people or whatever, but if you've done this, then I am indeed talking about you. And remember to get your question, and if you have a question, it's 347-539-5685. But what I'm about to say is the age of stuffing plastic in your curtain section at the top to make it fluffy, is that passe or old? Or you're looking at me kind of lost here, so I'm a hush.
What you talking about, Danielle? People stuff plastic in
the little, like the little, okay, you have the top where you push the lower part through, and then the bottom, like the little frilly part. Well, occasionally, plastic is stuck in there to push it out.
I'm trying to figure this out. Depending on the design of the panel, there are sometimes a fluted area where the rod goes, and then there might be another larger pocket that's part of the design, and you see the sort of stitchery across. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And so you're saying people take plastic and stick in there. I would suggest when a professional drapery workshop woman or man makes that panel, they would use like a batting material, some sort of lining material to do that. and that's the correct way to do it.
Okay, you're lining to do it.
I don't know if there's any issues with long-term plastic use.
I can't stand you. I just can't stand you.
I want to give a little shout out to Lisa Kinchin, owner and editor of Southern Journal Magazine. She just texted me, and she is just great. In fact, I don't know if you remember, sweet Danny J, but we are going to be mentioned in the next issue that's about to go to print. Yep. So y'all look for the article. The article's on Mirror Mates, and I mentioned the fact that we do this show every Thursday, and so Diane, the reporter that wrote up the article, the journalist, she wanted to give you a little shout out.
We'll take all the shout outs we can get, baby.
Right.
Okay, this is my thing now. Okay, y'all will never believe the hangings of custom framing that we have behind us. I'm supposed to do a plug, this plug too, right?
Holla.
Every second Thursday, we are broadcasting live on the square.
That's right.
In McDonough. We're at 10 Macon Street, McDonough, Georgia, and we do Simple Things About Style Live. So you can actually come, sit with Keith and myself, and I'm going to give you my expert designer advice, and Keith is going to
Y'all gotta see my face on the video right now. Oh, Lord.
Keith
I wish y'all could see this.
They can see this.
Okay, go on to the website.
Everybody, you can go to Ustream.com. I've been posting it on the G Gallery, but if you're listening, it's on Facebook. It's not. It's at Ustream.com. And all you have to do is type in a sweeter point of view. So once again, it's a sweeter point of view on Ustream. I'm trying to make sure that I enunciate and say of you and not of you. Not V-I-E-W. It is Y-O-U.
But you can also get there by clicking on the link that Sweet Danny J has posted on the G Gallery Custom Framing and G Gallery Interiors Facebook page.
Yes.
And please go to it and like it and share it, because all that electronic highway activity really helps me and gets people to see where we are.
It's really been helping, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It's been great.
That is awesome. I wanted to go ahead and, as promised, I wanted to plug a couple of things. Pasta Mix.
Yep.
Pasta Mix has done our food today.
They are so good.
Oh my God.
We've got some great restaurants here on the square. McDonough, you guys. Pasta Mix, Seasons Bistro, which is right across the street. Holler out to Sam and his wife Noelle at Seasons Bistro. And we've got PJ's on the corner, right down from the shop here, and right across from there is Kirby G's, which is competing in Las Vegas for the #1 hamburger.
I love their hot dogs.
You like their hot dogs?
Oh my!
I tell you, I just had another, I had a hot dog this weekend from Lunchbox, which is another little restaurant here on the square. They specialize in barbecue. Today for lunch, I had their baked sweet potato with barbecue beef and cheese and sour cream. Oh my stars, it was good lunch. I mean, it was just big enough, not too overwhelming.
I just realized I'm staring into my mouth.
I'm sorry, okay. Another food. There are other shops on the square. But since this is a sort of interior-focused show, I will mention that wonderful accessories and interiors, from antiques to new accessories, are available at Emily's Attic, which is a great place to shop. There is a new little gift store just a couple of doors down from the shop here. I'm so sorry they don't have a sign out front. I don't know what they're called, but they have some interesting stuff.
Gifts and more.
Yeah, gifts and stuff. Come to the square. There's also a great shop here called Atlanta Spell Tech, owned and operated by a friend of mine, Mr. Danni. And Danni repairs those broken iPad screens and iPhone screens, and he does computer repair, and yeah.
You know what? Because we have a broken screen at the house, and I think I'm going to hang my son up by his toes if he walk around with his lip out one more time. We're thinking we got to go support our local merchants, so be sure to support your local merchants. Also, Halloween is coming up. However, most local municipalities are having their Halloween thing, their trunk or treats, this Saturday. So this Friday or this Saturday. So please make sure. See, I can do this. Watch this. I can do it again. Watch. I'm gonna do it. Watch.
Pan and zoom.
Friday.
Okay, so there's the flyer. So
my brother told me to stop playing with my hair.
So this Friday is the downtown trick-or-treat event in McDonough. Now, what's happening is there are most of the shops are going to be offering candy from 3 to 5 to all kids under 13. And then at 5 o'clock, there is a costume contest. And
ugly people get a free pass on Halloween.
You are so wrong. Oh my Lord. God don't like ugly.
He ain't too fond of pretty.
So anyway, there are over $1,000 in cash and prizes, and it's going to be a big time. So be down here on the square in McDonough tomorrow afternoon from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock for all these events and activities. And please be mindful, people, as you're driving through the square, that we're going to have a lot of young'uns running around. Hopefully they'll be on a leash. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Hopefully they will be holding hands.
Coming out the sky. It's coming from G Gallery. He's trying to pick off ends with the jawbreakers.
No, I will not be here because I am installing some framing at 3 o'clock, and it's an interesting project. Somebody wanted a piece of art framed on the wall next to their vanity in their bathroom, hinged with a mirror on the back so they could open it up and use the mirror to see the back of their head in their vanity mirror. It's been a project that I have been trying to work on and work out. I mean, we're talking framed art with glass and then a mirror attached to that frame and then hinges put on in a way that will allow this to open up. So anyway, we're working on that. So I've got to be there tomorrow at 3 o'clock to work on that. And then at 5:30, I have another consultation where I am helping some clients pick new interior wall colors to go throughout their house. So
I am going to give you a picture that was sent to me.
Okay.
And the question is, frame colors to complement this color.
That's sort of like a gold color, right?
Yeah, like a gold.
If you remember my basement color?
Yeah.
Remember?
Exactly like
yeah. Okay. What's wonderful about that color is that
I'm sorry.
it will work for just about anything will work on it. Gold, obviously, you would want to use a rich, bronzier, warmed gold, as opposed to a standard bright.
So you still use gold on gold?
You could, but it needs to be a certain shade of gold. It needs to be dark and rich.
For example.
See, that would be too light.
Okay.
And
See if I can pan it.
so let me get something. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, look, I can turn it. Snap. Look at that. Everybody, we are improving. So if you have any other means, we're going to get new mics soon that's going to work and allow us to be more audibly aesthetic. He's back. I just turned it, so now. There he is.
Okay, you guys, I've got 2 samples on the screen now. This coloring would probably be a little too light. Let me hold this coloring up next to it. See how much warmer that gold is?
It really is.
Isn't it something? And that will show up lovely. Now, I, on that color, used a lot of rich, darker colors, black frames, heavy, dark espresso coffee bean wood frames. And yes, I did use a lot of very strong colored art. Deep, dark art. And then I used a lot of black and white photography against that color, which looks fabulous. So
black and white does really well on that color.
It really does.
Also, everybody, the number to call is 347-539-5685. And I want to remind everybody that we are, unlike the links for Blog Talk Radio, this link will never change. So Ustream, you can send it out to everybody every week, and it's going to be the exact same link.
Okay.
So we are, and every day after it posts, if you missed the show, you can always either go to Ustream and watch it again, or you can visit sweetdannij.com. Eventually, I am working on getting it to G Gallery, so it will be at the G Gallery custom framing site. So it'll be up there loaded.
Very good.
One of the things about oh Jesus.
Are you all right?
This chair. How come your chair doesn't use all the hydraulics when you sit in there? But when I do, it does.
I got hydraulics happening.
Yeah, but my hydraulics are all the way down to the bottom. Speaking of which, my food's over there.
We're going to be eating after the show.
But also, everybody, one of the bigger things about designing, changing colors. What is the best way? What if I change my color to a dark red? And now I'm not so dark and ready anymore. I want to go light.
Right.
What colors are better to gradually go light, or do I have to go gradually?
Not at all.
Really? Will it bleed through or change the color?
You have to use a primer. You have to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so do you have to go through and scrub all of that color off or something?
No, you just paint right over it with a primer. And you can now get your primers tinted with towards your new color.
Really?
So that a primer will cover that red. And Sherwin-Williams is very good.
We're plugging Sherwin-Williams.
Sherwin-Williams has a very good primer. Now with a strong red or a purple or even black, if you're trying to cover that, you might use 2 coats of primer. But if your first or second coat of primer is tinted towards your new paint color already, then most likely you're going to be able to get away with just 1 coat of your new paint color. It's a wonderful process. Very, very cool too.
It sounds.
But keep in mind that most likely, if you've done your homework and you did your job correctly, all your accessories and your fabrics and everything else is geared towards that red. So don't forget that not everything that worked well in the red room is going to work well in your new color of that room. Okay, so just be mindful of that. But take your time with it. That's good. Now, something else that happened this week, not only lots of framing, pick up another interior design job. Somebody has purchased an older home in the west side of Atlanta, and they heard about me from actually another designer. Thank you, Marianne. Marianne referred somebody to me, and I'm going to be meeting him and sort of walking through his house and finding out his ideas. But he wants to go very contemporary inside of this older home. So it'll be very interesting. And I think maybe we can ask him to let us do the show from there, sort of mid-process. And that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. So anyway, that's an exciting adventure. On Monday, I am going to a home to install vinyl letter sentences and words and phrases on a theater room, sort of a casual room. They turned into a theater downstairs in the basement of this big house, so they want to put fun sayings on the wall and readings and stuff like that. I've done that with some other businesses with scripture and things like that, and it's very good. So what's good to put on my accent wall if it's burgundy? What do you mean put on it? You mean like an accessory, artwork?
Yes, artwork,
Okay.
accessories, frames, things like that.
And again, I really want to caution you on using accent walls. There's a right and a wrong way to do an accent wall, so be very careful.
Okay.
But typically an accent wall is going to be a very strong and bold color, so you want whatever you put on that wall to have the lighter colors that are on the other walls, so that you're having a tie-in.
Say that one more time.
Okay. For example, let's imagine your room, you have a room that's all tan, and you say, okay, I want to have an accent wall, so you paint one wall or two walls a dark burgundy. Then what you want to do is in your artwork or your framing or your accessories is if you want to bring that tan color onto that wall in a small way, just bringing some cohesion to the decorating scheme.
So it doesn't look like the odd man out.
Right. You want to make that burgundy wall, I always describe it as oil and vinegar. You know how oil and water, oil sits on top of the water or vice versa. You don't want the burgundy color and whatever your other color is just sitting there next to each other. You want to make them work together, so you have to repeat that color within the parameters of the burgundy to tie it all in. Okay?
So you're going to have to...
there's lots of creative ways of doing it.
Available.
You can, one of the things to do is if your burgundy wall has window treatments, is to find a color that ties in the colors from the other parts of the room and pulls it onto the burgundy in your fabric panels.
Now, this is one of my questions. As you saw the room that we had just a few minutes ago,
the gold. Mm-hmm.
The molding at the bottom is just a plain white. What would make that room pop? Instead of just white bases and white molding all around,
My question to you is, why would you want the trim around the floor to get any focus at all? Leave it white and make it just disappear. There is what is so good about looking at a piece of base molding. There's nothing designer about it. There's nothing attractive about it. All your visual prettiness should be happening up at eye level. Artwork on your walls, your fabrics you're using, your wall color. There is no reason. People overthink their trims, and I think people overthink their doorknobs and their cabinet knobs, and who wants to look at that stuff? It's not pretty. Oh my gosh. So many people get so hung up on a towel bar, and I'm like, hello, put a silver towel bar in your bathroom. What you want to be noticed is the beautiful decorative towel hanging on the towel bar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just, some people overthink these little things, and I'm saying, well, why do you even care what the baseboard is doing? Paint it white and call it a day and go on.
Well, a lot of times people, and that's why you're here, is because it's the simple things about style that makes things elegant and beautiful.
Keep it simple. Less is more in any project you do. Focus on your strong impact points. Focus on what is going to be the focal point of a room. Typically it's in a living room, it's going to be the sofa, and possibly if you have a fireplace or something like that, then those are going to be your strong areas, and those need to be your pal. Everything else around just needs to complement and coordinate. If it's in a bedroom, your bed is your focus. That needs to be a pal. And the wall behind the bed, that's a good source of an accent wall. So everything else needs to complement. But you do need to place other furniture and accessories around the room with a mindset that it needs to complement that focal piece.
What do you think about couches and stuff in the bedrooms? Are you for them or against them?
If you have enough space to have a sitting area, I'm absolutely for it. In fact, I met one of my customers yesterday at Haverty's. Little plug for Haverty's.
Haverty's makes it home.
That was very nice. Okay, so anyway, so we went there, and she remembered what I told her, and some of you who have been listening to the show for a while know my feelings about this. I am not a fan of going to a furniture store and buying bedroom furniture where every stick of furniture matches. I'm just not that person. I think you get a lot more design and style from mixing your woods and your colors and things like that. So my customer remembered that I had told her that when I started doing her home, and so now she wants to move into her master bedroom. Now, she has 2 young girls who live in this house from wall to wall, ceiling to ceiling, crawling on the furniture, all over the table, writing on the walls, doing everything. I'm sorry, I'm getting hyperventilated. Okay. You know, my mama wouldn't. Okay. Anyway, so hi, mama. So the walls are all white. So it's going to be a while before we can paint this house. So we have to do everything with furniture and fabrics, and we have to pick durable furniture and durable fabrics. So remembering what I had told her about not buying matchy sets, we went to Haverty's. She showed me this bed that was this huge ship of a bed, 4-poster. It had alabaster portions plus scroll rice poles and racks and everything. And then, now this is sort of funny, she says, this is pretty to me. I keep being drawn to it. And then out of the other side of her mouth she says, but I like a leather that's pulled in little spots. And I said, oh, you mean tufted? And she said, yes, that's what I mean. So she wanted a tufted headboard. So she showed me this huge alabaster and wood rice bed, 4-poster rice bed, that is the size of the Titanic. And then we walked around a store and we found this tufted headboard that she loved that was scalloped and curved, and it was beautiful. We ended up going with an all-wood, beautiful, with just hints of gold trim on the wood and beautiful dark scroll work done, and it has a side and footboard that's all encased in one piece. It is absolutely delicious.
I'm going to let everybody know why he brings such attention to the kids living all over the house.
You do not need to bring that up. You make me so mad.
I'm describing these kids to talk about the bedroom.
There is the furniture. You see it?
I'm sorry.
Isn't that beautiful?
Here, right, everybody. I want you to see it.
It's beautiful. So that's what we ended up. That's what we're going to sort of base our idea on. Haverty's has a wonderful selection, and we're looking at. Now, this is what I told her. If you're on your screen now, what we're looking at is the king bed, and then we're looking at a dresser unit with a mirror on top that's attached to it. Everybody's very familiar with that. And she said, well, Keith, I thought you didn't want anything to match. I said, I don't mind having, especially in a room that's big enough, having the bed and one other piece of furniture matching, but then the nightstands and other pieces that we use throughout the room can be chosen with a little more sense of style and design in mind. For example, I like the nightstands, so to speak. I'm doing air quotes, you guys. The nightstands, you can have like a Bombay chest on one side of the bed, and you can have a round pedestal table on the other side of the bed, and that could be your nightstands. And that's a beautiful, beautiful look.
Beautiful. That sounds beautiful.
This piece of furniture, as I said, has the mirror attached to it. I'm not a huge fan of that. I would rather have a free hanging, beautiful mirror that coordinates but doesn't match. Okay, hanging above that piece of furniture. So that's what we're going to do. And then this customer the reason I went there is because you brought up the sitting area. This customer has an area that she wants to turn into her library. Now, one of the things she also said was she wants a makeup table just for her to be able to sit down and do her makeup. So what I suggested is that we turn this little area that's designed to be a sitting area, we're going to turn it into a little sanctuary. And I'm envisioning that I'm going to find a beautiful multi-fold dressing screen that I sort of cut off half the opening with to give it a little more privacy. And I put a little chaise lounge in there, and I'm going to put like a floor mirror, big huge mirror that's sitting on the floor and leaning against the wall with a beautiful vanity table right in front of that mirror, and she can sit at that.
Talk about mirrors.
It's great.
It just gets so sexy when we talk about mirrors.
Mirrors are so great to use. I love using mirrors, mirrored furniture, just one little mirror or mirrored furniture in a room. Just
I have a mirror on my headboard, and like periodically when I got my bonnet on my head, I look in my mirror and I tell myself,
you are beautiful in the morning.
And you are beautiful.
All right, baby, it's time for us to wrap up another episode of Simple Things About Style.
Wow, really?
I know it went fast. It really did go fast.
Hey, you guys, please come see me at G Gallery Custom Framing, located at 10 Macon Street on the square in McDonough. Telephone number is 678-583-1222, or you can email me at keith@ggallerycustomframing.com, or visit our website at ggallerycustomframing.com, or you can visit the Facebook fan page at G Gallery Custom Framing. I'm out. Thanks, you guys. Take it over, sweet Danni.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for allowing us to come visit you and be with you in your car, in your bedroom, at your work, whatever. We just really appreciate you for allowing us to be a part of your life and of your world. Please remember, everybody, I am your sweet Dr. Danni J, reminding you that the big world that we see around us is a mere reflection of how we see our inner selves. If you want to experience a sweeter life, it must first begin with a sweeter point of you. So until we meet again, be sweet to others, but most importantly, be sweet to yourself. Bye-bye.